Hello everybody, back for another movie review, and this time I'm going to review Alita Battle Angel. Alita Battle Angel is a cyberpunk sci-fi action film that came out back in 2019 by director Robert Rodriguez and produced and written by James Cameron. Alita Battle Angel is also based on a popular manga series called Gundam, or as in the English term would translate to Battle Angel Alita. Now, probably think, and of course the creator's name was Yukito Kishiro. Now, Battle Angel Alita, you're probably thinking, well, why is the title swapped around? Why is it reversed? Well, the reason why James Cameron chose to call it Alita Battle Angel is in the hopes that if the movie was successful enough, he'd do sequels. So that's why the title was switched around. And also, I kind of noticed that when you look at James Cameron's filmography on almost every film he either produced or directed, most of the titles either usually begin with the letters A or T, with a few exceptions. I mean, well, you look at his directing filmography, I mean, look at it this way. You got The Terminator, Aliens, The Abyss, Terminator 2, Judgment Day, True Lies, Titanic, Avatar. Yeah, I mean, almost every movie he's directed, well, also produced, started with the letter A or T. Well, I mean, also, didn't he do Piranha 2, The Spawning, and he also worked on Point Break? Well, both began with the letter P, so, interesting. So, basically, the story takes place in the year 2563, which takes place 300 years after a catastrophic war called the Fall has devastated most of Earth. And most of the floating above-ground cities have been destroyed, save for one called Zalem, which is this like city that hovers above the ground. Basically, all the rich and wealthy people live up there, and basically the only way to get up there is to become a motorball champion. Motorball being a very popular sport in the city of Iron City, which basically rests right below Zalem. Dr. Dyson Ito, played in the film by Christoph Waltz, is basically a doctor that works on mechanics and helps repair people and also repair cyborgs with several body parts. And while scavenging for parts in a scrapyard right below Zalem, he finds remains of a body, and he finds out that the heart and the body are still very much intact, so he ends up repairing her back together, and what we get is a cybernetic girl named Alita, played in the film by Rosa Salazar. He names her Alita after his deceased daughter. Alita, of course, struggling to adapt to this new world, but Ito is curious about her because he found her in the scrapyard below Zalem, and she has no idea who she is. But as the days go on, she begins to unlock more of her memories. But anytime she gets involved in battle and combat, surprisingly, since she follows Ito out one night to find out he's a hunter warrior, and she gets caught in the heat of battle, and slowly but surely her memories begin to unlock, and she begins to realize what her sole purpose is for existing. And she also comes across other people, like obviously another scientist named Dr. Charon, played by Jennifer Connelly, who happens to be Ito's ex-wife, and Vector, played by Oscar winner Mahershala Ali, who I believe is going to be the new Blade. And it's kind of funny because in the movie he kind of looks like Blade, the character Blade. Vector, who actually runs the motorball tournament and also runs the facility where all the hunter warriors are registered to ultimately go out and do bounties. And as time goes on, Alita begins to prove herself to be more than what she really is, and she knows combat styles that are basically extinct. But as time goes on, she begins to learn what her true destiny really is to get up to Zalem to basically bring it down. And along the way, she meets up with a man named Hugo, who ultimately becomes romantically involved with. So, yeah, this movie definitely has a lot packed into it. I have sadly never read any of the manga, but after looking at some of the illustrations and some of the behind-the-scenes stuff, and honestly, I'm pretty impressed with the animation and the some of the illustration and artwork that they've come up with for the movie. And after looking at the character designs, they definitely designed the character very well. And they chose to go with some animation, motion capture animation, I should say, and really good motion capture animation for Rosa Salazar to play Alita, which they've done faithfully well. This was a bit of a passion project for James Cameron because he'd been trying to get this made since the early 2000s. I'd say around 2003 he'd been trying to get this made into a movie. It would come as a bit of a surprise because James Cameron, believe it or not, is a diehard fan of Japanese animation and Japanese manga. He's a huge fan of it, and who would think that he was? So in the midst of making Avatar, he'd been trying to get this thing made. And around 2016, I think, long after he had finished up Avatar, but also he'd been working on the sequels at the time, sort of nonstop. And ultimately, he'd been looking for at least one good director to try to help him get the thing made. And ultimately, he ended up turning to Robert Rodriguez. Robert Rodriguez, the same guy who's best known for films like the El Mariachi trilogy, El Mariachi, Desperado, Once Upon a Time in Mexico, and he also made From Dusk Till Dawn, The Faculty, all the Spy Kids films, the Machete movies, and also Sin City. So yeah, Robert Rodriguez has had plenty of experience as a filmmaker, and he's also one of the most imaginative and one of the most inventive and creative filmmakers out there. Yeah, just like James Cameron, he too started out small and worked his way to the top, literally. But he too also has a great reputation among many great filmmakers. And as I've mentioned in my, I don't know if I can't remember if I mentioned it in my Escape from New York video, that Escape from New York was the film that convinced Robert Rodriguez to pursue filmmaking. And James Cameron actually was involved with that movie, so interesting connection there. Alita: Battle Angel was a moderate hit when it debuted in theaters in early 2019, and I actually, of course, was lucky enough to go see it in the theaters when it debuted. And honestly, the movie was pretty impressive. The visual effects were incredible, to say the least. I mean, this is one film that I'm surprised got denied a visual effects Oscar nomination. It was on the front runner list for, considerable films they were going to nominate, but ultimately Alita dropped off, and they nominated the films that they have now, so. But overall, I mean, I have never read the manga, so again, I don't know how faithful the movie is compared to the manga, so I can't make that comparison. But from what I've seen in the movie, it is very promising, to say the least. It is really promising with the world it builds up, the characters that get the character development, the story, really are intriguing. And enough to possibly, continue in a possible sequel if it ever should happen. But for some fans of the manga, I've actually heard some people say that the movie itself is pretty spot on. That, they made a few changes here and there, but obviously James Cameron tried to be as loyal to the source material as he possibly could. And like I said, this was a passion project. This is something he'd been wanting to get made for a long time, and to finally see it become a reality, James Cameron seemed pretty pleased with the final product, and even Robert Rodriguez was pretty fond of it too. And obviously, both filmmakers really had no problem getting along with each other. The movie ultimately grossed over $400 million worldwide against a budget of somewhere around 150 to close to $200 million. So the movie was technically profitable, but apparently it just did not make enough to, although the filmmakers and even Rosa Salazar herself has even basically been telling fans that literally she is ready to do another Alita film. She wants to do another one. So basically she's telling fans, go see this movie. When the Blu-ray or the 4K version comes out, make sure to buy a copy of it, trying to literally sell as much of this movie as they can. And yes, and although the movie kind of received mostly mixed to positive reviews by critics, while the visual effects, the story, Rosa Salazar's performance were all praised, the screenplay received some criticism. But for the most part, yeah, everything about, even the action scenes were incredible. Yes, the action is, there's plenty of it littered throughout the film. Lots of it. And again, this movie is literally a visual effects powerhouse. And also, it's Robert Rodriguez's most expensive film, since the film has a budget of, at the most, $200 million, which is funny because Rodriguez is a filmmaker that's not known for doing high-budgeted films. No, he's not. And it's also, like I said, grossing about $400 million, a little over $400 million. This is also Rodriguez's most successful film as a director. But, you know, working with a big filmmaker like James Cameron and, you know, having a visionary Robert Rodriguez at the helm, this actually was a incredible concoction for a movie to have both filmmakers work together, by the way, for the first time, as far as I know, because I don't think Rodriguez and Cameron have worked together prior to Alita. I don't think they have. I just realized that Christoph Waltz, Jennifer Connelly, Mahershala Ali, all in the same film together. All three of these people are Academy Award winners. I just realized that. And they have all won for supporting actor and supporting actress categories. I think Mahershala Ali has won twice at the Oscars. So has Christoph Waltz. Jennifer Connelly won once. So again, yeah, this movie is quite a powerhouse of a film, I gotta say. I do need to... I will eventually have to pick up copies of the manga and read it for myself and see what I'm missing, since the manga goes on for several volumes. James Cameron and Robert Rodriguez both have confirmed that they will do sequels if the film is successful enough, and I think very recently James Cameron and Robert Rodriguez have taken a virtual blood oath to make sure that a sequel does happen. So, and after watching the movie myself and seeing how the events unfold, I actually do want to see a sequel to this. I strongly would love to see one happen. I mean, Rosa Salazar wants to have a sequel happen. Christoph Waltz, he's kind of got his doubts about whether or not it'll happen, but you never know. We'll see what happens. It definitely has a lot of potential, loads of potential, and slowly but surely the film is catching on, and it's getting some really strong positive attention by fans. So this may be a great, like I said, can't really do a comparison between the manga and the movie since I never read the manga. So maybe one day when I have read the manga, I might do an update and say whether or not the film is a very faithful adaptation. But I'm sure fans will say that, no doubt. It is. I'm sure fans will no doubt confirm that it is a very faithful adaptation. All right, let's talk about the Blu-ray. Enough of that. Okay, the Blu-ray, honestly, for Alita is this is a really solid release of the film. The video, I really don't need to go too far into detail. Well, inside here, there's 2 discs, as you've already seen. The Blu-ray and the DVD. I don't have the 4K version, so I just stuck to regular Blu-ray. Oh, by the way, the other thing I should have mentioned was 20th Century Fox, the company that put the movie out. Alita: Battle Angel was the final movie released under the 20th Century Fox logo before the company was purchased by Disney. Well, I should say acquired by Disney. And this is the first film Lightstorm Entertainment released in over a decade. Last time they released one was when Avatar came out in 2009. So anyway, back to the Blu-ray. Like I said, inside are 2 discs, Blu-ray and DVD. I don't have the 4K version. I just stuck to regular Blu-ray. And honestly, the Blu-ray is incredible. The video is superb in every way. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's so detailed. Loads of great stuff. The visual effects come out so well. And most of the time, I'm kind of wondering, how they did the motion capture to make Rosa Salazar become the anime character herself, Alita herself. It's pretty amazing. But again, after watching this movie, I'm still shocked that they denied this film a visual effects Oscar nomination. So for the video, out of 5 stars, the video is presented in a 2:3:9:1 anamorphic, of course. And it looks, like I said, it looks absolutely gorgeous. Out of 5 stars, it gets a solid 5. As for the audio, again, it sounds as good as it looks. Action scenes are plentiful. The dialogue comes out very well. All the sound effects, all the action, I mean, it sounds perfect. Great in every way. It's pulse pounding. And the audio is presented in 7.1 DTS Master HD. Yeah. There's a 2.0 Dolby Digital track, descriptive audio 5.1, and there's a few, like your Spanish and French audio tracks. And of course, you get subtitles. So I would say for the audio, out of 5 stars, also gives a solid 5. Also a solid 5. As for the bonus features, surprisingly, there's a decent amount of material to be on here. Unfortunately, there's no commentary track. It would have been nice to hear one by Rodriguez and James Cameron, although Cameron is one filmmaker that's not known for doing commentaries, but he has done commentary for a couple of his films. You know, he did one for Aliens, he did one for Terminator 2, and he did one for Titanic. But it would have been nice to hear a commentary behind the from the filmmakers about the movie. But what we get on here is a pretty impressive, decent amount of material, about 2 hours worth of extras. A lot of behind-the-scenes stuff into how the film, creating the world of Iron City, basically from manga to screen, basically adapting the manga to the big screen itself. Like I said, something that Cameron had been wanting to do for a long time. Alita's world, basically motion comics, and it's a pretty neat, how they created the motorball sport. The motorball sequences were pretty impressive, literally. It looks like, the asterisk, looks like the only bonus material so apparently this stuff is only on the Blu-ray itself and everything else. So it looks like only these 2 features, Alita's World and From Manga to Screen, looks like that's only on the DVD. I mean, or better yet, those are the only extras you'll find on the DVD, but all this stuff you can get on the Blu-ray. Yeah, how they brought Alita to life. So yeah, I mean, for 2 hours worth of material, that's not really bad. So I would say out of, and some of the, behind-the-scenes stuff is pretty impressive to look at on how they designed the world of Iron City and how they brought Alita to life, doing the motion capture on Rosa Salazar to turn her into Alita. And also not just Alita, but also the other characters like Ed Skrine's Zapan, how they brought him to life. And again, the motion capture work is incredible. Oh yeah, I forgot about Ed Skrein being in the movie. He had been in films like Deadpool, of course, and he was in the Roland Emmerich war movie Midway. Great film, by the way. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, I would say for the bonus material, out of 5 stars, I'd probably give it a 3, because there's a pretty decent amount of material, especially with over 2 hours of stuff on here. As for the movie itself, out of 5 stars, I would probably give Alita probably a 4 out of 5. So, the movie itself, again, I can't really compare, but from what I've seen, it is a pretty solid sci-fi action thrill ride that definitely has phenomenal visuals. The story is incredible, and it definitely has the intentions of being expanded. And honestly, I would love to see a second movie, a second Alita come out. So if it does happen, I would love for it to happen. Cameron and Rodriguez they basically want to do a second Alita movie, and so does Rosa Salazar. She wants to do another one too, so I'd say go for it, guys. Get another Alita out there. The story in the film is incredible. I think it's a fantastic movie for what it is, and it definitely has room for expansion. As for the Blu-ray, this Blu-ray is incredible. The video and audio are both superb. 5 out of 5. The extras, not plentiful, but what's on there is good enough to satisfy fans, so it's 2 hours worth of material on how they brought the film to life and creating the characters, so the Blu-ray definitely is a solid package. Definitely. You can probably get the Blu-ray pretty cheap online. Whether you choose to go for the regular Blu-ray or go to 4K, that's up to you, but I'm sticking with Blu-ray. So, Alita Battle Angel, overall, I would recommend it. I'd recommend the movie. Give it a watch. Anime fans will love it, no doubt. Even if you're not an anime fan, you might find some enjoyment for the movie because it's got a strong story, strong characters, excellent cast of actors. and directed by a great directing producing team. So overall, this is actually a very solid movie. Definitely worth watching. So, this concludes the presentation. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will continue to do more videos in the days to come. So, until then, take care and be safe.